Instant match reaction. Everton 1, Manchester City 3 at Goodison Park. A difficult game of football again to watch, but one that I don't think any of us are really too surprised by. I think Everton put in a decent, valiant fight in that first half. You know, we battled, we got back into the game, of course, after conceding a silly goal to concede, really, allowing somebody with the quality of Phil Foden to stand on the edge of the box and take a free shot. Of course, it takes a massive deflection, which is very unlucky, but I was quite impressed with Everton in the first half, to be honest with you. Like I said, I think we battled. I think we had our own, fair share of opportunities to get forward. Adelaide Corey has one where he initially plays a brilliant ball into Luca Dean, who chips it over, and he's stuck between two minds of hitting it and crossing it back in, and it gets cleared. And Manchester City were gifting us the ball a couple of times in that opening first 10 or 15 minutes, but they're so good, aren't they? Let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. Manchester City are the best team in the country by an absolute mile. I honestly think they'll win that league by something like 20 points this season, because if not more, because they're just ridiculously good, and that showed today. And certainly in that second half, like I said, I think we battled and we kept up the energy and we kept up the intensity in the first half. Even though Manchester City had about 95% possession, that was always going to be the case. Carlo Ancelotti started with the back line of the four centre-backs, which I think we were all quite happy with. Ben Godfrey at left back, Mason at right back, Mina and Keane at centre half. And of course that changed within the first sort of 25 minutes when Yerry Mina goes off with a knock. Again, just what we needed. We're coming up against the best team in the country, a team that attacks so freely, score goals so freely, and arguably our best centre half goes down injured. Seamus Coleman comes back on, Mason drops back into centre half. Again, I think positional wise, he was caught a couple of times today. Probably a little bit more forgivable because we played against, like I said, the best team in the country, rather than being caught against a Fulham side who were in the relegation zone on Sunday. But he done okay at centre half. Seamus come in at right back again. Bit of an up and down performance, but did put in a really, really good ball for the equaliser. And like I said, the first half, I think we managed to battle and we managed to fight, and we showed energy and we showed that little bit of grit to keep it, to stay in the game, really. Manchester City were clearly the side that were always hunting for the goalie, were clearly the side that had the majority of the ball, but we weren't defeated. We stayed in the game. We got back into it with, I know it's a lucky goal, I know it bounces off the post and it's Richarlison, but the way the commentators were crying Manchester City in there, Ali McCoy must be a hidden Manchester City fan, I'll tell you that, because as soon as we equalised, it was, oh, that's a lucky goal. No mention of Phil Foden's deflection. That was a world-class strike, even though it deflected massively off Seamus Coleman. Richarlison's is a lucky goal because it comes off the post. Well, it's not a lucky goal because it's absolutely excellent play by everybody. It's an unbelievable ball in by Iwobi. Coleman chips it over to Luca Dean, whose shot is fantastic. It's the post, and Richarlison's just in the right place at the right time. And like I said, we battled in that first half, and we made sure that they didn't run away with it. But ultimately in the second half, look, City's quality and City's energy just showed. One thing that was evidently clear today is Manchester City are a really well-oiled team, and they're so fit as well. They don't stop running from minute 1 to minute 90. And in that second half, certainly from 65 minutes in, when Riyad Mahrez scores the second, I think it's very clear that we were just chasing shadows. We couldn't get anywhere near the ball, and you might say that's a little bit of an embarrassment that we can't get anywhere near a side like Manchester City for 45 minutes. I don't really think it is, to be honest. I think they are not just a level above Everton. I think they're about 5 or 6 levels above Everton Football Club, and if anything, it maybe shows where we are this season. But like I said, Manchester City do that to most teams. They've done that to everybody they've played against this season. They're just so well organised, they're well drilled, and they control the ball for large parts of the game. And I think a couple of things changed it. I think individual mistakes and mistakes leading to goals, and I think Carlo Ancelotti's substitutions, I really do think he got it wrong again. And I had a lot of praise for Carlo in that first half, because I think we set up right. We set up with the back line of the four centre backs. We had to change it because Yerry Mina came off injured. And then we continue to battle, we continue to show energy. Tom Davis, I thought, was very, very good. Alex Iwobi, I thought, had an excellent half. Richarlison battled, not just the goal, but he was winning everything. He was holding the ball up. He was playing it back off. Abdoulaye Doucouré was winning everything in that midfield as well. He was nicking it off of Manchester City players to get us forward. But that second half, like I said, we just couldn't keep up with Manchester City. We really, really couldn't keep up with Manchester City. And there's nothing wrongs per se with that, because they are, like I said, they're, you know, a lot of levels above Everton Football Club. And I don't want to keep talking about the Fulham defeat and the Fulham performance, but if we'd have beaten Fulham on Sunday, and if we'd have played like we did in the first half tonight against Fulham, we'd have beaten them comfortably. We'd have been 2 or 3-0 up before they even got a sniff at goal. But we didn't, and that's why this game, like I said, if we'd have beaten Fulham, we'd have come into this game and gone, you know what, we worked hard, we were beaten by the much better side, it's not the end of the world. But the fact that the Fulham performance was so bad, and now we've just spent 45 minutes chasing Manchester City's shadows, it just doesn't leave you with the greatest of feeling, does it? We are all a little bit dejected, we're all feeling a little bit down, and that's because of the fact that, again, it's 2 straight defeats on the bounce, and all of a sudden, you know, that room of you know, closing in on the top sort of 5 or 6 sides in the league is becoming a bit more of a struggle. Like I said, I think individual mistakes leading to goals. Manchester City are a team that don't need any help, by the way, in scoring goals. They didn't need Gylfi Sigurdsson to completely watch Bernardo Silva walk past them and Michael Keane to turn his back before the lad's even taken a shot on the 3rd goal. They didn't need, you know, the left-hand side of Luca Dean and Ben Godfrey, I think it was, no, Tom Davies it was, and Luca Dean to completely allow Riyad Mahrez to come onto his strong foot. One thing we done really well in that first half was keep Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling at bay. I think, don't get me wrong, they were still putting balls into the box, but we were limiting them to chipping balls into the box and crossing balls with height, and that was comfortable for Michael Keane all day. And when Yerry Mina was on the pitch, it was comfortable for Yerry Mina. But in that second half, whether it was a lapse in concentration, whether the energy was just drained, we allowed Riyad Mahrez to do what he does best. And if you allow Riyad Mahrez to cut in on his left foot, he's going to swing one in, and no goalkeeper in the world is saving that. I don't blame Jordan Pickford for the second goal, but like I said, there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can sit back and go, that's just pure quality and you can't do anything about it. Or you can say, why are we allowing a player of that quality to cut in on his favoured foot and take a shot from there? We should have been doing what we were doing in the first half and bringing him in on his other foot. Or if you're going to let him on his left, make sure you stand right in front of him so he can't get a shot off. But again, I think it's Davison and maybe Godfrey or Davison Dean completely allow him to run off of them. Bernardo Silva plays the ball into him and he shoots, and it's a fantastic goal. And like I said, from that point, it really was sort of chasing shadows. I think Everton went from being in the game and battling and maybe having that little bit of belief to just thinking, yeah, this is going to be a massive uphill battle here. And Manchester City stepped it up a level, and that wasn't unexpected, by the way. When Pep Guardiola had had them in at half time and Everton had nicked the goal back and it had been 1-1 and we were fighting, he'd have just said turning up a level. The big fear was, could we keep up with Manchester City's level ahead, and we couldn't. Like I said, Mahrez cuts in, scores the second, and all of a sudden it was pretty poor to watch from that point on. Nothing surprising, and nothing really disheartening. Like I said, it disheartens me because of the Fulham results and because of how bad we were on Sunday. If we'd have gone and beaten Fulham, that wouldn't be too disheartening for me. I'd be able to sit here and go, you know what, we were a little bit tired, they're a lot better than us, they're a lot fitter than us, whatever, move on, it's not the end of the world. But because of that Fulham results, and again, a slow second half performance just you know, makes for you know, even more difficult watching. And then Carlo makes 2 substitutions, which I think players coming onto the pitch was the right move. Josh King and James Rodriguez, absolutely the right move. You know, we were 2-1 down and Carlo seemed to be going for a you know, a draw, but he took off our 2 best players. You know, other than Abdoulaye Doucouré, name me 2 players on that pitch that were better than Tom Davies and Alex Iwobi in an Everton shirt. Certainly in that first half, okay, in the second half, maybe for the first 10 or 15 minutes they weren't excellent. But firstly, why are you taking off a player in Alex Iwobi and replacing them with a like for like? Why not take off Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's done very little, and bring on more pace? What's the point in taking off somebody with the ability to run at players and replacing them with somebody with the ability to run at players? Take somebody off who's not running at them and bring on another player with the ability to run at Manchester City, so you've got more options. And secondly, why Tom Davies is coming off again is absolutely beyond me. That lad today, in the first half especially, was excellent, absolutely excellent. He was so cool on the ball, he was so calm, and he was winning fouls, he was nicking it off Manchester City players, he was moving forward. And even when we didn't have a lot of the ball, even when we were sort of struggling to keep a hold of it, he just calmed everything down and done everything at his own pace, and it worked. And the biggest frustration for me with Carlo Ancelotti's substitutions isn't really Tom Davies coming off. It's the fact that he takes Tom Davies off and drops Gylfi Sigurdsson into Tom Davies' role. It just is absolutely mind-blowing. I love Carlo Ancelotti. I love him and I trust him with every decision he makes, because I think, he's, like I said, he's the best manager Everton have had in my lifetime. But that decision to take Tom Davies off and drop Gylfi Sigurdsson to a defensive role is just schoolboy. It is absolutely shocking, and that's no disrespect to Carlo, but that's awful, because I'm an Evertonian. I'm sitting at home watching the game, 10 minutes away from Goodison Park on my telly. No footballing experience. I haven't won a Champions League. I haven't won a Premier League. I haven't won La Liga, or etc, etc. And I know full well Gylfi Sigurdsson can't defend. He cannot defend. I thought he was okay today going forward. There was a couple of passes that he made which were good, and there was a couple of times when he collected the ball and he played it off well. But defensively, the fella is an utter liability, and I don't want to see him ever again defending in an Everton shirt. If Gylfi Sigurdsson is on that pitch, he needs to be ahead of the halfway line. If he's anywhere beyond the halfway line, then count him out, because he can't defend. And it's not just him who's at fault for Bernardo Silva's goal. Firstly, he just watches Bernardo Silva walk past him as if he thinks I can't be arsed. Secondly, Michael Keane turns his back 25 minutes before Bernardo Silva takes the shot. And thirdly, and maybe harshly, but I think Jordan Pickford should do better, it's hit very centrally, and Jordan sort of, just knocks it into the back of the net. And okay, it might have a bit of swerve and it might have been it, quite hard, but Pickford for me still should do better in that situation. And I think Pickford had an okay game, to be honest. Shot stopping wise, I thought he done well. He kept I think he kept Bernardo Silva out earlier on in the game with a fantastic save. Distribution was shocking, but shot stopping wise, he done okay. But again, like I said, you don't need to help Manchester City. You don't need to gift Manchester City chances to score by turning your back on the ball 5 seconds before the player's taking a shot, or completely allowing the player to move forward. And I get that it was probably a little bit of tiredness and, like I said, maybe fatigue from the previous couple of games. But as soon as we dropped that level of energy, as soon as we dropped that level and Manchester City raised their level, there was only going to be one outcome, and that outcome was what it was. Could have been 4 or 5 if Gabriel Jesus was on his, had the shooting boots on. But like I said, it is disheartening and it's disappointing, because we watched, a very similar second half performance on Sunday, but it was against a Fulham team who haven't got the quality of Manchester City and who haven't necessarily got the energy of Manchester City. So in isolation, this isn't the end of the world, this performance. We turned up, we battled for 45 minutes, we come out in the second half and we couldn't keep up with their intensity. We lost the game, we made silly defensive errors. Carlo made a stupid substitution, and yet we were made pay for it. But you look ahead now to the Merseyside derby on Saturday and you're thinking 2 defeats on the bounce, 2 defeats at home, and potentially another game without Yerry Mina playing. Hopefully his injury isn't too dangerous. Maybe Carlo's looked at Yerry Mina and gone, right, okay, we're not risking you. If you feel something, you're coming off, so you're fit for Saturday. Alan not involved in the squad tonight. Hopefully he's back for Saturday, because let's be honest, we need to stop messing about with this defensive midfield position. Stop taking Tom Davies out of the midfield position. He's absolutely fine there. He done well again tonight. Stop taking him out of there. And if that means Alan comes back in and he doesn't get taken out, then put Alan back in, because Gylfi Sigurdsson there is dross. Andre Gomez has been there previously, can't do it. Didn't come on tonight, so can't really say much about him. But there you go. Look, Everton beaten by the side that are going to storm away with the league. Nothing embarrassing about that fact in itself, but a disappointing second half, considering we battled so well in the first half. And yes, Manchester City had 97% possession, and yes, you could say they didn't actually have 97%. It wouldn't surprise me if it was something like that. And yes, you could say we were lucky to get back into the game, but they were lucky to score their goal. And okay, they had a lot of chances, but ultimately, we beat Chelsea at home. They had a lot of chances, and we scored on the counter-attack. We weren't sat here saying we were lucky. So I actually think it was a decent first half, and then they just ran away with it. But yeah, disappointing again. Substitutions baffling again for me, and stupid mistakes lead to quality players taking shots. Like I said, Mahrez's goal is unbelievable, but you're giving him great space on his right hand side. If Manchester City had said to James Rodriguez in that last 10 minutes, yeah, we'll roll this ball out to you on the edge of the box and we'll all stand miles apart from each other, have an effort at goal, it'll probably go in. And they'd be sitting there saying, okay, it's a great sight, but why have we allowed them to do that? And that's my point for today. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a like if you want. Play ratings will be up shortly. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you soon.